Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another HFY narration. Before we start, I would like to thank you all for subscribing. We have reached 200 and that's seriously amazing. Today, we'll be reading Impossible, made by you/otherwise 16206. Thanks for the writer's permission. The link for the story is in the description and I hope you'll enjoy. Let's begin. Anybody who hasn't been living under a ship, and maybe even some that have, knows the classification system by now. 1 to 12, a simple 12 rating system that determines how inhospitable or hospitable a planet is towards life. Though some might be forgiven for thinking that, since the higher numbers were more and more dangerous, the lower numbers automatically were more likely to contain life. No, the fact is, a world classified as 1 through 3 almost never has enough resources or calories in their closed system for life to develop at all past simple single-celled organisms, much less sapient life. Sure, death worlds may be actively trying to kill you, but the sheer amount of energy and life contained on their surface can be a boon to any species if they figure out a way to harvest it, or happen to have evolved on it. Like one particularly randy set of primates with a penchant for trying to kill themselves. And the middle classifications were practically made to be cradles of civilization. But a world with a perfect climate, insanely low gravity, no seasons and almost zero diversity in flora and fauna, you could terraform it into a perfect garden world. But nothing intelligent would evolve there on its own. It was impossible. Until planet 33Z89. At first, surveyors thought they were motes of dust, tiny, nearly see-through gossamer balls with leading tendrils of white. Annoyances that dissipated with a simple wave of the hand anywhere near them. Hell, if you wanted to pick one up, you couldn't. Just touching its surface would shatter it into so many particles in the sunlight. Soon enough though, the garden worlders on the planet started noticing an increase in these dust motes, and some very odd behavior. Anytime they would get near a larger clump of whatever this dust was, it was like an exhalation of some unseen beast. Hundreds of these little white spots would exit slowly, little rods of barely held together clumped dirt flying from them in lazy arcs in the low gravity, to poof uselessly against even the weakest of low classification species. At that point, it wasn't difficult for even the most skeptical of minds to realize that these motes of dust they'd been carelessly destroying by the hundreds were in fact the first sapient species ever to be found on a Class 1 world. A sapient species we'd never be able to really interact with on a significant scale. How can you hold a conversation when just breathing a bit too hard is enough to destroy one of their cities? It was impossible. Humans had a problem. They were new on the galactic stage, and while it's easy to make people fear you when you're a 6-foot-tall hyper-dense primate who drinks literal poison, it's much harder to actually make contributions. To say, hey, we can help too, let's be friends, I promise not to turn you into a smear by turning around too fast. Most of the issues we were easily able to fix that other races couldn't were purely human problems. Sure, we had adaptive anti-venom that could fight any Death Worlder venom there was. But only humans could survive most venom long enough to administer said anti-venom. Same with poison. We had grafts to heal bones within a few hours, but only humans could survive the procedure. Did they shun us or avoid us? No, in fact, many aliens were incredibly nice, helping us adapt to a universe where we felt like we were living weapons. Where one wrong jerk of the hand could kill your work buddy, or a mislabeled thermos of coffee could give that nice spider lady you met at the bar last night symptoms similar to alcohol poisoning. But nobody likes feeling useless, and really the only useful skill humanity had was learning how to not hurt people weaker than them while interacting with them. I'm sure you can see where this is going. Within 3 weeks of learning the problem with the dust bunnies, as they insisted on calling them, a human ship in low orbit spent 12 hours slowly, meticulously sliding down a small multi-layered exoskeleton the size of an onion. Lovingly called She-Relk 1, each layer hardier and hardier, with sophisticated impact absorption the likes of which the galaxy had never seen before, until the final layer sealed the deal, making the little wisp inside safer than even most humans were from outside harm. Within 3 months, a good portion of the population had these suits, or more compact versions of them. Within 3 seasons, human of course, most of their infrastructure was resilient enough for most delicate of garden worlders to move about on their world without causing significant harm. Within 3 years, treatments were available to bring them around to galactic standard in terms of durability even without the suit, and within 3 decades they were an invaluable part of the galactic community. prized for their usefulness in maintenance, engineering, and janitorial jobs, as well as being excited to try their hand at so much more. All because a group of clumsy, destructive primates decided nothing was impossible. Thank you for listening. I'm so glad that you're still here. This one was certainly fun and honestly pretty good in my opinion. This was the writer's first story too. If you have stuck around, go and show your appreciation to the writer on HFY. I hope you're having a good day and I'll see you in the next one.